Today I'm training two movements. I'm going to train the planche position, so I'm just warming that up, and the straddle L sit position, so going to that. So going to work between the two. So from the straddle L sit position, coming through to a planche variation, I'm going to build up and slowly make the planche harder and harder, and I'm just going to go between the two in both directions. So planche to straddle L and straddle L to planche. So this is great if you're working towards stool depressors, or basically if you just want to improve that hip mobility and also work planche at the same time. Now we can modify depending on your level. Now that could be your level of flexibility. So you can see I'm warming up my straddle L sit. So this is my cold position. So I can get like nose, chin to the floor cold now. It allows me to get from this position through to a planche without needing to elevate the hands too high. But if you don't have the flexibility to go down into that position and get your feet through to the planche, or from the planche back to your straddle L sit, it's pretty simple. We can just raise the hands up a little bit higher. So now my hands elevated, I can walk around to this L sit position, keep the knees bent, and there's not such a straddle flexibility requirement. And you could go higher. Just be careful when you do go into this position. There's nowhere to catch you if you fall backwards onto your butt. So having a box or something here is a good idea if you're new to that movement and you're not sure whether you're going to fall back. Now obviously there is a planche prerequisite as well. So if you can't hold a tuck planche, you're not going to be able to go between the two. So one option is to go from a crow position. So, and again, this could be done raised, or it could be done with hands on the floor. So I'm going to step into my crow, now open the legs, try and get into that L sit position, either with straighter legs or bent legs, depending on the flexibility. You probably will struggle to get back into that crow position if you can't hold a tuck planche. So you just have to work between the crow and the straddle L with just enough clearance to allow the feet to come through. Obviously, if you struggle with both the positions, it'd be a good idea just to break them down and train them individually. And I've got a separate video on each of those, so training towards the tuck planche and training towards the straddle L sit. So I'll link those in the description and at the end of the video as well. And then once you have the initial straddle L sit position through to a tuck planche, you can obviously then start to advance the planche into slightly harder variations, or just increase the time. So I'm going to go to advanced tuck position now. So from straddle L, pull through into more of a flat back tuck position, and then go back to my straddle L. The P-bars work well for this as well, and you can obviously use the higher ones if you don't have the flexibility. And the cool thing about the P-bars is it gives you a ledge to sit on if you don't quite make it through. It won't make sense with these ones because these are too low. So I'll try and go more to straddle planche now position, so it's going to be less torque. And then harder to come back. If you struggle with the transition but you can do both positions, you could do like a planche, walk through tippy toes, find your straddle L, walk back, and then obviously just try and decrease the amount of weight that's in the feet. Okay, I'm going to try and max my planche out now. So I was only visiting the position for a second. Oh, Jesus, lost the ability to talk. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions with this one. Definitely growing a bed will help if you've got the ability to do that. And I'll speak to you next time. Thanks, guys.